Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into what is arguably one of the most chilling, unsolved cases in American history. Listen to this. He killed at least 5 people. He actively taunted the police. He sent coded messages straight to the newspapers. And after 50 years, he was never caught. This is the story of the Zodiac killer. Back in the late 1960s and early 70s, this guy completely terrorized Northern California. But what actually made him so different from other killers? Well, he wanted the spotlight. He wanted to be famous. He actually wrote letters to the police, literally mocking them, and he created these elaborate secret codes. And the craziest part? To this very day, his true identity remains a complete mystery. So, how did this all start? It began on December 20th, 1968 in Benicia, California. Picture this. 2 teenagers, 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen, are parked on a quiet road. It was actually their first date, but tragically, they never came home. Within minutes, both of them were shot dead. And the police? They had absolutely nothing. No suspects, no clear motive, 0 witnesses. Then, just 6 months later, it happens all over again. It's the 4th of July, 1969. Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau are sitting in a parking lot in Vallejo, California, when a car just pulls up. A man steps out, and he immediately opens fire. Darlene tragically died. But Mike actually survived. And because he survived, he became the very first person to ever give a description of the Zodiac. Mike described the shooter as a heavy-set white male, right around 5 feet 8 inches tall. But get this, before the police could even act on that lead, the killer actually called them himself. He rang up the Vallejo Police Department and literally said, and I quote, "I want to report a double murder." He gives them the exact location, describes the weapon used, and then drops this incredibly chilling line. "I also killed those kids last year." He was confessing, and he was proud of it. And that's when the letter started. In August of '69, 3 different newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald, all received a letter containing a coded message. He straight up demanded that these papers print his codes on their front pages, or else he threatened to go on a massive killing spree. At the bottom of one letter, he signed off with a symbol. It was a circle with a cross running through it, kind of like the crosshairs of a gun sight. That exact moment, that was the birth of the name, the Zodiac. Now, those codes were eventually cracked by a local school teacher and his wife, and the translated message was just pure evil. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all."
At this point, the police were completely baffled, and the FBI had to get involved. We're talking hundreds of suspects being actively investigated. But the most famous one, by far, was a guy named Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted sex offender from Vallejo. I mean, the coincidences here were staggering. He matched Mike Mageau's physical description perfectly. He literally owned a Zodiac brand watch. He'd even told a friend once that he wanted to kill people and taunt the police with, you guessed it, coded messages. It sounds like an open and shut case, right? Well, not quite. Fast forward to 2002, and DNA testing proved it was not a match for Allen. Plus, Allen had already passed away in 1992, so the trail just went ice cold all over again.
Now, the Zodiac himself actually claimed to have murdered 37 people in total. The police? They've only ever officially confirmed 5. But a lot of experts out there strongly believe the real number is way, way higher than that. His last confirmed letter was mailed in 1974, and after that, just silence. Nothing. It is absolutely wild to think that a full 50 years have passed since his reign of terror peaked. The guy literally just vanished into the California fog. Despite all those taunts, all those letters, no one was ever charged. No one was ever convicted. In fact, the case remains officially open to this very day. The San Francisco Police Department still lists it as an active, ongoing investigation. Over the years, dozens of people have come out of the woodwork claiming they know exactly who the Zodiac was. Like in 2021, an investigative group called the Casebreakers announced they'd supposedly identified him as Gary Francis Post, a house painter who had died back in 2018. But importantly, the FBI never confirmed this. So the Zodiac killer remains one of the absolute greatest unsolved mysteries in the entire history of American crime. So, what does this all mean? Who actually was the Zodiac killer? Was he some sort of twisted genius? A complete madman? Or maybe just someone who lived a totally normal, boring life, while secretly terrorizing an entire city. The scary truth is, we may never actually know. If you found this explainer interesting, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, because next week we're covering another terrifying case that will absolutely keep you up at night. Until then, stay safe out there, and remember, sometimes the most dangerous people of all are the ones hiding right in plain sight.